Ready?
1, 2, 3.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Ultracrepidarians. My name is Kaylee.
I'm Connor.
And this is a podcast where we talk about whatever we want. Hi, Connor. How are you today?
I'm good.
Good.
I've had a really long weekend, so just glad we made it through.
It's not the weekend. You mean week?
Week. Did I say weekend?
Yeah, you said I had a very long weekend.
That just is evidence to
How long of a
my
week
statement.
you've had?
Yeah.
What's been going on?
Everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything and anything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, both of our schedules have been really busy.
Yeah. It's been a beeping nightmare. I can censor myself. Thank you very much, YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't need you to do it for me. It's final season.
The dreaded finals.
I hate finals. Like, I love them, but I hate them at the same time.
How do you love them?
I love I don't love the grind, actually, but I love feeling like I'm accomplishing things.
Like, it's the end.
Yeah. Like, I
and
love...
you're thinking, I made it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's where
Okay.
I'm at. Even though I have, like, so much to do, in my brain, I've already made it, you know?
I can see that. When you said it's a love-hate relationship with finals, I was about to chime in saying it's a hate relationship I have with finals.
Really?
Yeah, they just... I don't know. Do I really have to...
Elaborate.
I don't want to take a test at the very end to make sure I've got everything. What if it's just like a one-on-one meeting, being like, hey, you got everything? Yeah. You got this? Yeah. You got that? Yeah. You're good.
I think the whole finals black hole that a lot of college students fall into also stems from like standard testing, which I also hate because I don't learn the same way that actually I might learn the same way you learn, but I'm a hands-on
But
visual
like no
learner.
no one learns
the same
the
way.
same way.
And I think that's so bad.
Yeah, in high school, my high school at least offered 2 different ways to take college level classes.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was CE, and that would be different assignments throughout the semester
Yeah.
where you would do them, and that would determine like if you pass the class or not. But then the other form was AP classes.
Oh.
And if you went through the entire class, at the very end, there's a test. And if you don't pass the test, that means you don't get the credits. I hated that. I thought about it so many times, and those classes I would never be caught in. I always chose CE because to me, if I fully understand the material and do every single piece of the homework, but I just crash out taking tests, and that's what doesn't give me college credit, that's so unfair. So I am never taking an AP class.
I have to tell you something.
Did you take AP classes?
I took all AP classes my junior year. I had like 4. But I passed all of them except for one that I took over COVID. I took AP Chem over COVID, and that's what made me realize, oh, maybe I don't want to be a pharmacist. I failed the test. I got like a 2.
Well, COVID, that's when schools started giving out Ps. Like, I was like, just passing.
Yeah. I got a P my sophomore year.
Yeah. So many people got Ps because I got a P in one of my classes because the way my school did it is they knew they were going to give out Ps, but then they didn't immediately tell all the students because they would just stop trying.
Mm-hmm.
They would just get a P. But it was if you were going to fail a class after quarantine started, then you would get a P. If you were already failing the class before quarantine started, then you would still fail it. But I'm sitting in my room, hauling away at the work, trying super hard.
Yeah.
And I'm not.
You could have given up.
Getting like C-, and it's starting to get to a D. And I'm thinking, this is horrible. My GPA is going to crash. I'm not going to get out of this alive. And then last week, they announced the P grade. I was so mad because I had put in so much work to fail, and they're like, it's okay. Everyone passes. So,
That happened to me with, I think it was my math class, which, first of all, I'm not good at math. One of the only classes in college that I failed.
You're saying that like I am.
I know.
I am horrible.
Well, that's why we do film and not anything else. That's why we both dropped out of
no longer
med-based degrees.
Yeah, medical.
But yeah, I failed. The only class I failed in college was a statistics class, which ironically, I did my senior year almost entirely online. So they had it so like you weren't required to come in for classes in April of 2021. I think about the year. But you could. So like we would have 3 hours of classes in the mornings and then 3 hours of in-person after that. But it wasn't required for you to go to that. It would just be like basically like homeroom, but we didn't have homeroom. And so I remember I would go sometimes and then other times I wouldn't, simply because I didn't have a car. So a lot of students actually got to like miss out on a lot of like in-person interactions for that other half of the year because of the optional schooling.
Yeah.
And the way that it worked. It was also weird because it was like they couldn't force us to go back to school because California was still like shut down. California was shut down for like 2 straight years.
Yeah, I think California was one of the last ones to kind of say everything can open up again.
We were in and out of like mask mandates for the longest time.
Mm-hmm.
Because it would be like, okay, we can stop wearing them, and then there'd be another outbreak, and then they'd be like, just kidding, put them back on.
Right.
Put those nostrils away. Put those mouth breathers away. Put those chompers back.
It's like last century, everyone got scared of seeing ankles, and now everyone's scared of seeing noses. But now it's so normal to see someone with like a doctor's mask on.
Yeah.
Now
I don't even bat my eye.
Even if it's not COVID anymore, if you're sick, you just wear a mask.
Yeah.
If you need to go out.
Yeah.
Obviously, don't like try to purposely go out when you're sick. But if you have to, like to go to the store to get meds or to pick someone up, I don't know. Everyone just now, first thing that comes to their mind is I'm gonna wear a mask because I know I got sick about 2 semesters ago. I got sick for about like a month and a half just because it was some bad flu. I missed classes for 1 week, and then I started to feel bad that I was missing classes, so I went even though I felt horrible. So I just put on a mask, and then eventually when I felt better and I didn't have to wear the mask anymore, people started looking at me weird, and I would walk up to them and say, "Why are you making that face?" And they would say, "I don't know. I just forgot what you looked like underneath the mask."
That's what the mask is. That's what the point of the mask. Am I going to get canceled?
If anyone's going to get canceled out of us two, it's not you.
You think I'm... Okay, actually, I think this is an interesting conversation. If I were to ever get canceled, what do you think it would be for?
See, this is a dangerous tightrope to walk on.
Like, jokingly, not actually. Because,
right.
Like, obviously, I'm not trying to actually get canceled.
Okay. I'm picturing a world, right? Where, like, the next year, the worst musical comes out. Like, just destroys theater.
Oh.
People stop going to plays.
Oh.
Actors are getting laid off.
I don't like this world.
And you're still for it. Like, it comes out, the world hates it, but you love it. So you go online, you post your opinion, and you get ripped.
Theater's for losers. Theater's for nerds. You're a nerd. I think you would get canceled for being, like, too goofy.
Goofy. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
Because you've been on a kick lately where...
Yeah, it's weird energy burst. I know where you're going with this.
Yes. So we have mentioned that it's final season, but as film students, we don't have traditional finals. most of the time. What we do have is what I call the postseason. Um,
Ugh.
and it's where we're all in post-production for the films that we made during the semester. And there's a big group of us right now. I think it's like 6 of us.
It'll depend on the night. There could be 6 to 8
Yeah.
people there.
So we're starting to climb, but it's starting to hit that point where everybody's realizing, oh, maybe I should start working. Not like everybody else hasn't been working, but just like later. Like I should start working later nights.
Right.
But Connor and I have been in the lab until about 11 p.m. every night for the past 2 weeks. And Connor will just be sitting at his computer and then, like a cat, he'll just start like banging on his keyboard with his little paws. He'll just be like, and I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, synth music.
Hey, listen.
And then you create a song that sounds like a Mario Kart theme.
Yes, it does.
It does. It sounds like Coconut Mall.
I wouldn't say Coconut Mall.
Oh
I'm
my-
not that talented. I like to give myself workloads every day to kind of not overbear myself and do an entire project in one night. So eventually when my workload's done, I'm just sitting at the computer, I bust out the GarageBand. I turn it to 80s synth. I like to play a little ditty on the keyboard.
A ditty?
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
I like to play a little ditty. That's what you get canceled for, is saying ditty.
They're just people just stop forgetting phrases, and I use them all, and they're like, "This guy's talking in tongues. We got to get him out of
He's
here."
a witch. Burn the witch. It's the Salem witch trials all over again.
I thought you were gonna mention the other night we went to a school event, and before it, I was so hungry. I just was kind of there, walking, listening, talking a little bit, but I wasn't doing too much. And then I bought biscuits and gravy, and not even after eating it, it was while I was eating,
Oh.
I just got the weirdest energy burst, and I started running around talking to as many people at once as I possibly could, not as a group. Each of them individually, I would have conversations with them. They would be separate too. So I was bouncing back between two groups of people. I don't know what happened. There was something in that gravy.
You came up to, because I had just approached you as you'd gotten the biscuits and gravy. And I walk up to you, and the first thing you do is you point at your plate and you go, biscuits and gravy. And I was like, oh, you got biscuits and gravy? You're like, yeah,
Well,
it's good.
It was good. Shout out the biscuit bus.
And then
if you ever see a biscuit bus around you, get something there. If it's not biscuits and gravy, get something. But I recommend the biscuits and gravy.
Well, and then Emma and I got in line, but it was Bryn and I too. So it was Emma, Bryn, and I got in line to go get these little bowls. And you walked up to us and you were like, you guys aren't getting biscuits and gravy? I was like, no. And you're like, you're getting a bowl? And I was like, yeah. And you're like,
I was acting like it's the new revolutionary invention.
yeah. My bowl
Just
was
going around
heavenly.
screaming, guys, have you tried this?
You guys will not believe what I just found.
Even though I've had it before.
It's like the most southern thing you could have done, considering that you're a little southern boy.
Well, I don't know. When was the last time biscuits and gravy was truly
Delicious?
only southern? Whoa,
Oh.
hang on now. Biscuits and gravy are always delicious.
Well, it depends. It has to be a good gravy.
So-
If it's a bad gravy, then it's not good biscuits and gravy.
Okay, fair. But
But you know who actually, ironically, has some bomb biscuits and gravy?
who?
Denny's.
Denny's has biscuits and gravy?
Denny's has biscuits and gravy.
I need to start going to Denny's more. But, I mean, like, a lot of dishes, not even just for the South, but a lot of dishes that have originated places, kind of the rest of the country is now taken as well. So it's not like, oh, you have to go here to find them.
Yeah, but when you think of biscuits and gravy, you think of the
Yeah,
South.
you still think of the South. That's true. Chicken and waffles also was, I'm going to say it was also a Southern thing originally, I believe,
I think so.
if I'm not wrong.
I don't think
I
you're wrong.
could be wrong.
I don't like chicken and waffles.
But, oh, okay. You need to explain yourself.
Here's my thing. When I think of fried chicken, I do not immediately want them covered in syrup.
But it's so good. And there's different kinds of syrup you can put on it.
You are the same man who solely puts ranch on his chicken.
What's wrong with that?
It's such... Of all sauces, you're going to choose ranch?
Are you going to come for me and go against arguably the second most popular dipping sauce?
Yeah.
Only second to ketchup because everyone loves ketchup.
But
ranch, you can put it on a salad. You can put it on pizza. You can
sorry,
eat it
you
with
put
chicken.
ranch on your pizza?
Yes, you dip your pizza in ranch.
Why do you do that?
Because it's so good.
No.
Yes.
Are you going to dip your pasta in ranch?
No. That's Alfredo.
That is not Alfredo. That's not how Alfredo sauce works.
It's not how Alfredo sauce works. But it's kind of close.
No, it's not at all.
I know, I'm stretching here. But there are so many people who dip their pizza in ranch.
And it's weird.
Have you tried it?
Yes.
You have?
Yes.
And you don't like it?
No.
Well, we can't
It just
all be
tastes
perfect.
like ranch. What's the point of me?
What else is it supposed to taste like?
Pizza.
I don't want to have
Pizza.
ranch and be like, it tastes like soy sauce.
But here's my thing. I think sauce should be a compliment to whatever you're eating. So like, if it's the whole thing that you're eating and all you can taste is a sauce, that's too much sauce.
How do I word this? No. Just kidding.
I got so offended.
With sauce, right? Because you're often when you're dipping something in a sauce,
Yes.
often the first part of it to go in your mouth is the part with the sauce on it. So if you want it to be complimentary, just don't put a lot of sauce on it. But if the part that has sauce on it goes in your mouth first, I hate to tell you this, you're going to taste the sauce first. You're going to have to go deeper to find the food.
Okay, but here's my qualm with ranch. That it's not like it's like you smell it and you taste it, you know? Like I like ranch.
That's just hold on. No, that's just how smell and taste
No,
work. They go together.
No, because you smell a barbecue sauce and you're like, oh, that smells like barbecue sauce. You don't taste a barbecue sauce because every barbecue sauce tastes a little different.
Then your nose is broken.
We've established that.
Have we?
Yes. I can't really smell things correctly because I had COVID in November of 2022.
Oh yeah, I think we did establish that.
So like,
well, it's still true. Because, and just learned this recently, our nose can smell close to that number or above. I'm going to say about. Our nose can smell about 1 trillion different smells. You know what our tongue can taste? 5 tastes. So besides those 5, what you think you're quote unquote tasting, you're smelling. Because when you put food in your mouth, that it travels up your nasal canal up to the top of your nose because that's where your receptors are, and that's how food works.
So I'll never taste normal again, is what you're telling me?
No, you'll taste fine because you still have those 5 tastes. You're just starting to cut down from that 1 trillion smells, which adds to taste. But
20 years was a good run.
You can't say ever again, though. We don't know. It could come back.
Yeah, we literally don't know because
we don't
the
know.
Side effects of COVID are so
it's only
unstudied.
been
2 years.
2 years.
3
That's
years.
weird. Yeah, almost 3.
Almost 4. Well, no, 3.
Almost 4 since it boomed.
Yeah.
But since it ended,
Yeah.
we're 2.5, almost. So side effects could only last 5 years. You don't know. You could wake up one day, have breakfast, and think to yourself, "This is a lot better than I remember it being." Wouldn't that be a cool?
Your inner monologue is nothing like mine. It's so funny to hear not in a bad way, in a good way. Where mine is like, what? Yours is like, wait a minute. Mine is just immediately like, huh? It's either straight panic or straight annoyance, and there's no in between.
I don't get to panic or annoyance until I have found out as much as I can about the topic or subject or thought. If a thought crosses my brain, no matter what it is, I will dig into it.
I think you and I are two very different beings. In a good way. For me.
I could have definitely told you that before this.
Speaking about being two different entities, over the summer, I went on a girls' trip. Oh, also happy December 1st. My mother just texted me this picture of
it's
her
December, Christmas time.
Crocs that she got.
Peppermint Crocs.
Peppermint Crocs with little Christmas tree socks. Peppermint Crocs with the Christmas tree socks. Heather, you got bars.
Wow.
Happy December 1st, Mom.
Happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas.
We're in the UK.
And happy Chris. Wishing you a happy Christmas.
Whoa. I didn't know you were going to go that deep into it.
I'm in an accents and dialect class.
Oh, that's true. About your girls' trip.
Oh, yeah. We went on a girls' trip over the summer.
Girls.
To a Red Dead convention.
Oh, yeah.
In Tombstone, Arizona. And it was me, my roommate, my best friend, and her roommate and sister, or sibling. And I didn't know what to expect. I've never played Red Dead. I don't know nothing about Red Dead. I'm just a girl, okay? I know nothing. All I know is MJ texted me and she was like, "Hey, there's going to be this cowboy game convention and tickets are only like super cheap. You guys want to go?" And I was like, "Absolutely." She's
That's a pretty fair description of
"We can dress
Red
up
Dead
as
Redemption.
cowboys and just roam." And I said, "I'm in. Say less."
What else do you need?
I know. The trip was only like $100 in total.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
I know. It was really good. But while we were there, we went to go see, because it was like a local town. It was like a western town. It was a tourist town. It was so cute. If you have a chance to go to Tombstone, Arizona, go. It's also where a lot of there's a movie about Tombstone called Tombstone. So we went there and there's this like little local gun show. And I was like, I love a good form of live entertainment. Get me into that building right now. So we went to go watch this gun show. And the lead stunt guy was this like retired Marine vet. And he was just like this little guy playing Ringo. And they would just like, it was blanks.
Like the lizard?
Yes, I know.
Awesome.
But in the show, they would call him Bingo. And it was like an interactive show. So like we could like heckle them. And we kept heckling this guy. It was all of us in a row, like maybe 3 aisles back. And we just kept heckling. Anytime he
so
did
mean.
anything, I was like, boo! Get out of here,
off,
Bingo.
Like, the best stunt ever. And there's an entire row just ridiculing him.
I actually was cheering him on for the stunts. One thing about me being a theater major, I'm so annoying about it. If you do something that I know is impressive, I will cheer, no matter the context.
That's not annoying. That's just, I'm going to use it. You're just being a girl's girl.
I'm just being a girl's girl. And so after the show, like, we were walking around and we would keep seeing him everywhere. And anytime we, like, saw him on the street, this group of women would point at this, like, older gentleman who was, like, maybe 50s. And we'd be like, Bingo! Bingo!
I thought you were going to say you heckled him after. Oh, you did? Yeah,
just kept
I
pointing
think
and
that's the
screaming at
best
him.
way for him to have recognized you guys was to constantly boo him.
But wait, so you had to pay for that show, right? And we went back the next day and we got like a package deal where you could do a bunch of things around the town, and that show was one of them. And I was like, I'm going to that show again. I know we already saw it, but I'm going again. So it was me and then like two other people in our group that went to go see the show again.
Why not go again?
I know.
Bingo's going to be there.
I think we all went, almost all of us. I think it was all of us that went the first time. And we were like, we got to go see Bingo again. So we went and watched the gun show the next day because it's a 3-day trip.
Mm-hmm.
We went and watched the gun show the next day. And we sat in the front row and he recognized us and then called me and my roommate. Well, he insinuated that we were like we were dressed as saloon girls because we did different
Yeah.
themes. But he was like, I know you bar maidens recognize me. And I was like, Ringo, buddy, I am a 20-year-old woman. He wasn't doing it in a creepy way. It was in a funny way. But he basically was calling us wenches. And that was really funny. And then after the show, he came up to us and asked for a picture. And then...
He asked you for a picture?
Yeah. And then...
The bingo?
The bingo asked us for a picture. And then we went and got these little... We were looking around the town, and they had these little posters. And they had one for Ringo. So naturally, we all bought one.
You had to get one.
Yeah. And we all tracked him down and asked him to sign our posters.
So now you have a signed poster of a guy pretending to be Ringo named Bingo.
But it's so special to me. It's near and dear to my heart. And then as we tracked him down and we're getting him to sign it, he was like, I'll give you guys free tickets to come see my show again. So three of us.
You went all 3 days?
Yes. 3 of us went the last time to go see the show for free.
Wow.
I think of Ringo every single day.
He probably loves you guys. He probably loves you guys now.
I love Ringo. I don't know who he is actually. Like, I don't know what his actual name was.
Man,
but
if someone heckled me for an entire show, I would never invite them back.
I would. I'd be like, you're my number 1 fans.
They're at least interested in you the most.
Haters are your reverse fans. They are. Because they're just always thinking about you and talking about you.
Oh, you got a point there.
I do. I got points all the time.
Because there's the saying, like, any press is good press.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't entirely agree with that.
No, me neither.
But I kind of get it. Thinking
People are talking about you.
if people, especially if people are talking about you negatively, it feels like that kind of spreads faster than positively.
Yeah.
So, like, it's a bummer that it's negatively. And obviously you never want it to be. But your name's going around pretty quick.
Well, and also you'll trend on Twitter. As long as you're not, like, canceled and people are just like, oh. Like, Rachel Zegler. She went viral for... Actually, I don't know if I should open this can of worms. But she went viral.
Everyone knows.
Everyone knows. Everyone knows.
What she went viral for.
She went viral for that. And then Hunger Games comes out, and everybody loves her.
Yeah, and it was like this weird, like, because
I've always loved her.
I think they finished filming that whole movie before that interview.
Yes.
But the movie came out after, so having watched that video and thinking, oh, well, now she's in the new Hunger Games, this is going to be great, and then you walk away and you're like, man, that was great. She did a really good job. Mm-hmm. And now you're thinking, oh, but I can't like her because of this video, but
I think
she's
people
Lucy
also
Gray.
forget that she's like a young 20-year-old girl who didn't she didn't go to college. So, like, she doesn't have a university training behind her. And she blew up from West Side Story.
Yeah.
So she doesn't have, like, a lot of background with the media that a lot of younger stars do that, like, grew up in Hollywood. You know what I'm saying?
But it's also, now in this day and age, it's kind of impossible to not have a background in media at all.
Yeah. But to that extent, like, having to be so careful of what you say, like, having to be hyper aware of what you say.
Yeah, but that's also, I feel like it's one of the many prices you have to pay.
Yes.
For being in that industry as well as in that limelight.
Yeah, it's definitely a lesson learned.
Hopefully it's a lesson learned.
Yeah, I think that she did great. And I think she's just a girl in a world that oftentimes jumps on hate wagons for women who just simply misspoke.
I think, I don't know when the last time someone, I'm not going to say got canceled because she was never, like, really canceled.
No, people are just annoyed with
but
her.
I don't remember the last time someone started getting backlash from, like, one moment in their career. Because it was like, it would be getting canceled as, like, finding these moments in your career and, like, it builds up. But, I mean, if one moment is big enough.
Yeah. I also came in a time where people didn't have a lot to talk about, so they were hyper-focused on it. And I was like...
True. I think now, for some unknown reason, at least to me, there's this weird lull that movies continue to go into where we'll have like 3 blockbusters release in the same time frame.
In the same 2 weeks.
And then it'll be a few months in between when the next like pairing or trio of blockbusters come out. And in that span of a few months, it just lulls. Like there are movies that come out during those times, but people aren't nearly as excited for them as the blockbusters, and they just start turning their attention to a lot of different things. I don't know why this pattern has been happening, but I mean, Hunger Games came out, Napoleon just came out, and I know that one is something people are looking forward to a lot. And then you have Illumination's Migration movie coming out soon.
Oh, yeah.
No one's talking about it. All they're talking about are Hunger Games and Napoleon.
I've also noticed that there's a lull in original movies. It's all IPs right now.
Yeah.
Although we did have a lot of original movies this year.
This summer
This
was
summer is a
big
lot of
for original movies.
Yeah. And Napoleon's an original movie, so that's nice. But it's also like, it's not. Like, we all go in there knowing it's about this French guy.
Right. Movies based off true
Any
stories
human, yeah.
are kind of a different category.
Yeah.
Because it's an original idea to make a movie about that person, but it's obviously not an original idea because it's based on that person.
Like Soul Surfer. I, for some reason, was obsessed with that movie as a kid. I was like, yeah, you get him, Bethany.
Out of every movie ever made, I don't think I could possibly have guessed you were going to bring up Soul Surfer.
I loved Soul Surfer, okay?
For a minute, I weirdly thought about Silver Surfer.
Silver Surfer?
From the Fantastic Four movie.
Was that the one that wasn't Chris Evans?
No, yeah, that was the one where Chris Evans was in Fantastic Four.
Yeah, but who played Quicksilver?
That was the second one.
Yeah, because Quicksilver was killing everybody.
Not Quicksilver, Silver Surfer.
Sorry. I was thinking of the brand.
Quicksilver got shot in Age of Ultron.
Oh my God. All the film bros are going to come from my throat that I just said Infinity War.
There's so many Marvel movies, they blend together now.
All the Avengers
But that's
movies
that's kind of what they want to do, right? With the whole MCU.
Yeah.
They blend together. It's not movies, it's one franchise.
Yeah, did you see what the director of Thunderbolt said about it?
Of Thunderbolt?
Yeah. It's like the anti-Avengers, the anti-hero Avengers, where it's going to have Yelena and Bucky and John, whatever his name is. Hold on, I'm trying to find.
That's right. I forgot that's what it was named.
Hold on.
What the director said about just Marvel or
No, like about the movie.
About the Thunderbolts movie.
Yeah. He said, I found it immediately. It's time to make a good Marvel movie. I know everybody is sort of on this Marvel train right now with things not going so well, and the story that I think they've come up with is really interesting. It's not a straightforward Marvel movie as you've seen in the past. Time to go to work. Yeah, but how many of the past Marvel directors have said that?
That is true, because
I haven't even seen Miss Marvel's yet.
I think it's just Marvel's.
Oh, sorry. That's how out of the loop I am.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I don't think I'm going to see it until it comes onto streaming. Just because after watching the first Captain Marvel, especially after following Infinity War,
Yeah.
and having that ending just sit with you,
Yeah.
we kind of expected the next Marvel movie to sit in that realm and kind of tell us we're stuck here. But they released Captain Marvel, which was like 40 years in the past, I think.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
all of us just watched it saying, can we at least get a little bit of post-snap, please? And of course we got an end game. But after watching the first Captain Marvel, I wasn't the biggest fan of it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it was the worst Marvel movie. Definitely not. But I liked a lot of other IPs better than Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
But I can see, if it's done correctly, I can almost see Thunderbolts kind of becoming Suicide Squad version for Marvel.
They just need to do it right.
But not Suicide Squad, the Suicide Squad, the second one, the better one. Because Marvel has fallen into this weird, I think it's ever since Ragnarok came out, Marvel has fallen into this weird balancing act between action and comedy, and the comedy is no longer complementary to the action.
No.
Because it feels like a lot more Marvel movies are turning into comedies with fight scenes.
Yeah.
And I don't know about other people, but I don't go to a Marvel movie thinking, I'm going to go in, I'm going to laugh, the jokes are going to be funny, it's going to be a good comedy. I go in thinking, okay, who's the villain? What fights are they going to get into? What's the, real story affected moments?
I think the movie that does that the best is, ironically, people are going to hate me for this, I think Civil War does a great job of balancing the action with the comedy.
I don't think anyone would hate you for that. I think Civil War is probably one of my most favorite Marvel movies.
Yeah, me too.
Because
you get all the characters you want. It
shows the world they created up to that point, and they add more to it. And it's not a full Avengers level threat. That's why it's not an Avengers movie. But all of the Captain America movies face kind of real world issues. Because Captain America, he's a real guy. He's just a man of the people. And both sides, and I would almost say all three with Baron Zemos, I think all three sides you can understand from some point. If you really start thinking about it, in any of their positions, I feel like I could also fit in it. Obviously, we pick sides, especially for advertisement going Iron Man v Captain America. Whose side are you on? And going into it, we pick sides. After watching it, we pick sides. We debate. But I can still understand all three point of views.
What team were you?
I'm obviously Team Captain.
Oh, I was worried. I was like, is this going to be where we fight? Is this where we have this argument?
Well, I think there's two moments in that movie where they clearly show they're no longer in agreement.
Yeah.
Because when Steve is talking to Wanda, he says, we try to save as many people as we can. Sometimes it's not everyone. And then Tony Stark, already feeling kind of defeated after Age of Ultron, he just separated with Pepper Potts.
Divorce.
They weren't married yet. They just broke up.
I know.
After the college kind of venue, I think, when he gave everyone enough money to fund their projects.
Yeah.
Which, whoa, I always watch that movie and I think, that's way too many projects. The school won't be able to keep up with that. He meets a woman where her son died in the battle in Age of Ultron, and she blames him for it, and he gets all thrown off. And after that encounter, he starts thinking superheroes need to be held accountable for their actions. And you can replace Tony Stark and Captain America in both those scenes, and they still have their ideals. Because I think if Tony talked with Wanda about what just happened with her, he would go away saying superheroes need to be held accountable. And then having that conversation with that woman, Captain America probably would have said, we try to save as many people as we can. Sometimes that's not everyone. It's hard, but we have to learn from that and keep going. And that's what I agreed with the most, because I understood what Tony was saying, and I thought he was kind of right, because everyone needs to be held accountable for their actions. But also, they're superheroes. They're kind of saving the world.
Yeah, that's one thing that bothered me about it is I understand that they're causing mass destruction.
Yeah.
But it's also not them. Like, they're not just going out
Yeah.
into the street and like
But they're
just
also preventing way more destruction.
and they're also preventing way more death. And I think that's something that is so Marvel's done really well in this world building of government officials being like,
Yeah. Yeah, because they start bringing up fights, showing it to them, kind of saying you need to be held accountable. New York, weren't you the government who wanted to drop a nuke on it?
yeah.
Sokovia, hey, they prevented a robot from creating a meteor that would wipe out the entire human race.
Yeah.
And it's like, you realize in their destruction, they prevented a larger destruction.
Yeah.
So there's, for me, clearly a side I needed to be on.
Yeah. No, I agree. I remember that time
For
in
my
my
mom,
life.
not so much. But she also picked Iron Man's side because she liked Iron Man more.
I think my brother was Team Iron Man for the same reasons. I remember we got into a big argument about it.
Yeah, I think...
That was the big Thanksgiving argument that year.
Yeah, I think my mom was strictly on Iron Man's side just because she liked him more. Maybe not because she agreed with him more, but...
Same.
I mean, I don't know. I like Captain America more, so I shouldn't say much.
Yep.
If you guys are against us...
You're wrong.
I didn't say it, she did. I kind of forgot that Marvel came out too. Because earlier I was mentioning blockbusters, and I mentioned Hunger Games and Napoleon, and in the back of my brain I was going, I have to be missing one. And then I just kept going with it, thinking, oh, I already named two.
Well, it's underperforming.
Fine. And then you said Marvels, and in my head I was just saying, how could I forget Marvels?
Well, it's underperforming, and I think it's because they marketed it too early.
I think they marketed it too differently. If you look at all their advertisements, they're all kind of highlighting something different or like showing a little more. And I think if you add all the advertisements together, you basically have half the movie. And if you give half the movie in your advertisements, I'm not going to want to see it.
That's something that's been bothering me lately about trailers in general.
Showing
I feel like
too much.
They show too much.
Trailers are gradually getting longer and longer because they used to be about 1.5 to 2 minutes, and now they're creeping up on 2.5 to 3 minutes.
They need to stop.
And
crisp 1:30 for me, please.
I don't know how you can put stuff into a 3-minute trailer and not give too much away, unless it's like a minute per hour of your film. But still, I'm thinking you can't like add any dead space or like just casual conversations in the movie into the trailer because that doesn't get people excited. You need the action. But then action sequences are always quick. They're always showing something new. So if you put a bunch of action sequences into your trailer, you're going to reveal something. So yeah, just stick with 1.5 to 2 minutes. 2 minutes is pushing it. Just kind of say, this is a big movie. Here's one part to get you excited. To see the rest, come see the movie. Because it used to be, trailers used to just highlight who was in it. Be like, hey, you know this person, and you know this person. Now they're in a movie together. Come see the movie. But with the rise of social media and the internet, we've started to learn who's in movies beforehand. Like before trailers come out, the casting list gets leaked or released, and we see who's in the movie way ahead of time. So now trailers can't just show, hey, this person's in the movie.
Do I hear something crazy?
Tell me something crazy.
I just realized Age of Ultron came out 10 years ago.
Don't tell me that. Man, 10.
Can I also say something controversial?
Say something.
I love that movie.
Okay, I was going to go into it. I do too. I think it is the lowest of Avengers movies.
Yes.
But I don't think it's bad.
No.
And so many people think it is like near bottom list for all Marvel movies. I'd say it's middle. Maybe a little higher.
Better than Ant-Man Quantumania, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think, personally, I loved Endgame with everyone else. I loved and geeked out about Spider-Man No Way Home. Because you got so much fan service. It was pretty much right after the events of Endgame. So you have those repercussions. And the way it ended just twisted my heart. I was sobbing. I was but after that, I gotta be honest. I've just walked out of every Marvel movie going, that definitely was a movie.
Yeah.
That was a movie.
It sucks because they took Spider-Man in such a great direction, but I feel like they're almost taking the rest of the franchise in the wrong direction.
In the opposite direction almost.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like we're seeing any evolution past Endgame. It seems like we're seeing a lot of... Like, I think Doctor Strange is heading in an interesting direction, but Multiverse of Madness was a movie. But they also, like, took away all of Wanda's character development.
They also had... Yes. I think WandaVision ended in a little interesting way, but I'm not going to say bad, because it ended with Wanda having gone through a full arc, as well as still she's holding on to a little bit. But then it feels like when we get to Multiverse of Madness, she's let go of her arc and just honed in on what she was still holding on to and made that her whole character. And that felt a little forced. But also, you can't put PowerPoint presentation slideshow transitions in your movie. Like when he had the tea and he got drugged and he passed out, and there was just like the camera just went to black, like starting a circle going inward to his eye till it closed. And I watched it and I was just thinking, what did you edit in Google Slides?
Yes.
How did you?
Yes.
What
Have you seen the rest
choice
of the movie?
was that?
I just stepped on your
I think
foot.
it's also hard after Endgame, having set up such a big kind of arcing villain with Thanos. They're doing that again with Kang. However,
They've already shown us too much.
Yeah, I don't think they're going the right way because they're leaning into the multiverse. So every version of Kang we see has already been defeated. So we can't really grasp onto the character and say, oh, he's powerful, if every variant of him has already been defeated. Because it's Kang, the top of the TVA. He watches the whole timeline and stuff. No, he's defeated. It's Kang the Conqueror. No, he got defeated. Oh, no, he got defeated. And now we're just thinking, well, who's left? And like Quantumania, the post-credit scene had, I want to say like thousands of Kangs in an arena. Hey, newsflash. If you're going to give us 1,000 variants of a person, we're not going to latch on to any one of them because there's just too many of them. And you're like, this is the new villain for the Marvel movie.
I think
and we're like, which one? And they go, yes.
All of them. I think also why Thanos worked so well was because we saw so little of him throughout the original Avengers series. Like, I'm going to call it a series. The saga.
Yeah.
The original Avengers saga, we saw like snippets of him, but we never saw too much of him. And so we knew as audience members that he was there and that he was, you know, probably going to come into play, but we didn't know when or how. And so we just always had like this little fear in the back of our mind of, oh God, Thanos is there. Thanos exists in this universe.
Yeah.
What does this mean?
Because we saw him in Avengers, but we always saw the back of his chair. And then at the very last post-credit scene of that, he turns around and smiles, and we see half of his face. Then in Guardians of the Galaxy, we see all of him, but kind of shrouded in shadows. We see his face and his body sitting in the chair, but he's not doing much other than talking. And we see a big, like, kind of cast, like projection of him on the wall talking to Ronan, and it's just his face. And then I think after that, the next time we see him, I think is at the end of Age of Ultron, when we see the glove and he puts it on and the camera focuses on him and he just says, I'll do it myself. And then we don't see him until Infinity War. And between Age of Ultron and Infinity War, there's a good chunk of movies where you're just left sitting there thinking, well, he has the glove now.
They built
He's
the anticipation
doing stuff.
so well.
Yeah. We can't do that with Kang. We can't be like, oh, he's doing this.
Yeah.
While they're doing all these things, he's doing this. Because any Kang we've seen has already been defeated.
Yeah. It's so interesting. I also think I haven't seen the new season of Loki yet. So I don't know where that's going. But I think the whole Loki thing introduced way too much to us too quickly. Because now we're like, okay, how does this connect? Because you're not even in the same timeline.
Right. I think season 1 of Loki did a good job ending this season with the timeline burst and not like going further into it. And that left us thinking, oh, well, now there's a bunch of different timelines and so many things are going on and we don't know what's happening in it. And like before season 2 of Loki, all we saw of that was in What If?
It's been really isolated.
Which was a cartoon show that we don't really know if it's canon. And we saw a little bit of it from Multiverse of Madness. And I say a little bit disappointingly, especially for a movie called Multiverse of Madness. Because they just like hop through, but we don't see much. Like, we just see, oh, this is a universe where plants are everywhere. This is a universe where this and this. And we're like, okay, but where's the people we know in this universe?
Mm-hmm.
And we saw that once with the Illuminati in like 2 scenes, and then they were defeated.
So quickly,
So
by the way.
again, anything new that we see gets cast aside, and we're not left with it. So by the time Loki season 2 came out and they started diving into this, it feels like it's too soon, even though it's been a while, and they could have dug into this more, but they didn't.
Yeah. We could go on for hours about Marvel.
Yeah. That's kind of what this episode has turned into, but
It's just a whole Marvel episode.
I'm not complaining.
We do have a Star Wars episode planned for after the new year. At what time? Yet to be disclosed.
Yet to be disclosed. But sometime in early 2024, we will have an episode solely themed for Star Wars.
Yes. Who are we out of the Star Wars franchise?
Like what characters?
Yeah.
Oh, man. It's so easy to say like Luke or Han.
Mm-hmm.
But I think not everyone's going to know this.
Mm-hmm.
More people will know this thanks to the Ahsoka show. I think I'm going to say Ezra.
For you or for me?
For me.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that. Yeah. I see that.
I want to say Padme for you.
For me?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm more like younger Ahsoka, but I could see Padme.
Younger, like Clone Wars Ahsoka?
Mm-hmm. Just the snarky, sassy.
I mean, Ahsoka and Padme had a bit of that.
Yeah. I could definitely see Padme. That's a compliment. Thank you, actually. Being compared to Natalie Portman is such an esteemed accomplishment.
I think it's so funny how quickly, I don't even think it's really guys, but how quickly, if like beauty or Star Wars, 2 arguably very separate topics, but if one of those topics come up, I think it's funny how quickly Natalie Portman gets into the conversation.
Yes.
Like, she has dominated both topics.
Yeah. She's amazing. And I think something we don't talk a lot about in her performance in the Star Wars movies was her subtle choices.
Mm-hmm.
She had a lot of subtle choices, especially in the 3rd movie, considering that one of the original plot lines was that Anakin thought she was having an affair with Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Like, putting it in that mindset and rewatching some of those scenes, you're like, whoa.
Mm-hmm. And it's not Natalie Portman's fault that they wrote that Padme died of a
Broken heart. Well, now the fan
I-
theory is that she didn't die of a broken heart
Yeah.
and that Palpatine took her life
Yep.
force, blah, 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 blah.
Well, I read that theory that, like, the power Palpatine talked about with Anakin, like, to save lives, Anakin actually did learn and unknowingly, to save himself, took Padme's life force.
Yeah.
And that made perfect sense to me. And it also added to the fact that, like, as soon as Vader was conscious, Palpatine said, "It seems in your anger, you killed her." Because then that theory would make that statement true.
I didn't think about it in the terms of the anger line. I just took it as this is a better ending than her dying of a broken heart.
Well, it is a better ending than
Yeah.
dying of a broken heart.
It
so.
also is like, I feel like that way it's like, it kind of helps the sequels, which you can't really help that much because they're just everywhere, but it kind of helps the sequels in a way But also it just feels a lot better and also explains why no matter what he did and no matter what lengths he went to, which a lot of casual Star Wars fans don't know that he went to like astronomically insane lengths even when he was Darth Vader to find a way to revive her.
Mm-hmm.
And that he almost did it, it would make sense why he was just continuously unable to. If he took her life force, he would have to give up his own life force to bring her back.
One of my favorite comics from the Star Wars universe was when Vader was out on a mission because they received a lead, and he met up with the bodyguard of Padme, like from episode 1 when they like switched places, and then eventually Padme was like, "I'm Queen Amidala, really." He met her out on his mission. He thought it was Padme. Then he realized. And during the mission, they had to team up and do these things. And they slowly got closer together. One, because she reminded him of Padme. And two, she kind of saw what was left of Vader that was human because of her relationship with Padme.
Yeah.
And after that, after that mission, I think it ended with Vader going to Padme's grave and just sitting there. And I really liked that because it kind of showed early on there was still Anakin left in there a little bit.
It gave us the hope that it also gave us like the heartbreak too of the like you lost yourself so much to where you are now. And I think the comics do Vader a lot of justice in terms of his character. I feel like they really give him a lot more humanity.
And that's what a lot of the more recent Star Wars media has been doing. They've been kind of fleshing out Vader's character.
It's great.
With showing that he is just this vicious tyrant. And then there are instances where you're like, I think that was Anakin.
He follows the same arc as Hamlet, I believe. Something like that. Hamlet or Macbee is what he follows in terms of his own tragedy. But it's a very well written. I think it's actually Macbee because it's Obi-Wan that, slices and dices him like a tuna roll.
Oh, Obi-Wan.
He
probably went through the most.
Yeah.
In Star Wars. And he didn't turn. So, Obi-Wan's just a G.
Obi-Wan just went to therapy.
Yeah. But we'll get into that more
later
in the Star Wars episode.
We already got too far into it.
Maybe a little bit this episode. But that's okay. Because as for now, we'll be closing out this episode. Just little hints at what we're doing in the future. Maybe not near future, unknown future, but eventually we'll be doing it. So thanks for listening to our semi-Marvel themed episode today. And it being December 1st, have a good Christmas season, guys.
'Tis the season.
'Tis the season.
Happy holidays.
Happy Christmas.
Catch us anywhere you can listen to podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, still on hiatus, but we'll be there soon.
Yep.
Hopefully. Maybe SoundCloud soon.
Yeah, maybe SoundCloud soon. Yep.
Follow us on all our socials at Ultracreps HQ. And we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye, guys.